All right, so it's exactly 4 o'clock. We have more people joining in. Permit me to share my screen. The host has to allow me to share my screen so I can just briefly read an abridged version of Professor Charles' biography. An abridged version. There's so much to say, but this is an abridged version this evening. All right, let me just share my screen. Okay. All right, can we all see my screen? Please just use the chat box if you can. Yes? Can you all see my screen? Okay, yes, awesome. Thank you so much. All right, so good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. My name is Egbu Emelogo, and I'm the Regional Director for Leeds Trinity University in Nigeria, our Nigeria office based in Lagos. We are all here to listen to our very, very estimable Vice-Chancellor, Professor Charles Egbu, and I want to start by reading his biography. So Professor Charles is the Vice-Chancellor for Leeds Trinity University, popularly known as LTU. He previously served as a Pro Vice-Chancellor at the University of East London and Dean of the School of Business of Built Environment and Architecture in London South Bank University in the UK. He holds a first-class honors degree in quantity surveying and a doctorate in construction project management from the University of Salford, also in the UK. Professor Charles has over 30 years experience in higher education, having held academic positions at University College London, the University of Salford, Leeds Metropolitan University, and Glasgow Caledonian University. He has lectured extensively in areas such as sustainable development, construction economics, project management, and innovation. He is a prolific author. He has written 12 books and contributed to over 350 publications. He has supervised more than 30 PhD students and examined over 100 PhD candidates globally. His research has attracted over £25 million in funding, and he has led numerous large multidisciplinary projects and still does. Professor Egbu is a fellow of several prestigious organizations, including the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors and the Association of Project Management. He has received numerous accolades, including an honorary fellowship from the Royal Institute of British Architects, the RIBA, in 2023. He has strong links with the construction industry, professional bodies, and policymakers worldwide, and has chaired many industries and government committees related to the built environment. Professor Egbu continues to mentor academics and support organizations through skills development and continuing professional development, which is abridged by CPD. I need you to unmute yourself to welcome Professor Charles Egbu this evening, who is going to share his story of how he, from an international student, became the first Black Vice-Chancellor in the UK. It's a huge position. It's a huge fit. He will be sharing his story with us this evening. Let's appreciate him this evening. I need to see your reactions. Unmute yourselves to clap if you can, while we hand over the mic to him.
You're welcome, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Good evening,
Good to have you
Professor
here.
Charles.
You're welcome,
Good
sir.
to have you, sir.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And so let's start immediately with the reason why we're here. Professor Charles, over to you to kindly share your story, how you started as an international student, how you rose to where you are today, and tips and insights on how we can build our career in that same path, hopefully, in the UK and other countries, hopefully. Thank you so much, sir. Over to you.
Ebun, can I just say it's really an honor and a privilege. And for those who are listening in, can I thank you for your time to listen to me? The story goes a long way back, I have to say. It goes a long way back in the mid 1980s when I was a teenager. And sadly, I lost my dad in Nigeria as in my late teens. I was about to do my A levels. I finished my WAEC in those days, as they say in those days. And the world was almost collapsing on me. But at that time, my late mother has just moved to the UK to do nursing. She had a scholarship to do nursing. This was in the mid 80s. And then while she was in the UK, I lost my dad. And then she took the opportunity of being a student studying nursing to bring her family, brought my brother first, then my sister, and then myself. So this happened within a period of 1.5 years. And when she was doing nursing, she was at the lowest rung of her nursing career. And it was very, very tough. But the policy and the regulation then was difficult from what it is now. So I came and I started doing my A levels in the United Kingdom in the 80s, coming in as an overseas student. Because then once you are 18, you no longer come as a dependent relative on your mother. So I just turned 18 by a week. So I couldn't claim to be a child. So I was seen as a foreign student coming to with my mother. And life changed very, very drastically. A new country, then it was very cold. And I knew my mother couldn't support 3 children. And almost the first week I came, I registered doing my A levels and I was looking for a job almost that first week to do A levels. And I did all kinds of menial jobs. I worked in the bar, doing glass collecting, serving drinks, working as somebody who clears the table after the meal have been done. And it was really, really tough. But I knew I had to do that because with a late dad and a mother who is very lowly paid, it was tough. And you have to combine. And it was a new environment. And even trying to focus on your studies wasn't as I saw it in Nigeria. But there was something I was very, very clear that I had to be so disciplined. I had to be so dedicated. I knew I had no choice but to make it. And every penny I got used in supporting my mother and used in paying my fees then, I knew they will never be in vain. So I was working and studying, and I was only sleeping for no more than 4 hours a day, year in, year out. Really, really tough. Although there was something to be had. So I went and did my A levels. I was fortunate I passed and passed well. I had the options of leaving Leeds where we were based, but I wanted to be close to my mother and working and bringing some money home and studying. So I wanted to do a course in Leeds because that was the only way I could. And I picked up a course I never wanted to do, I have to be honest. Because as a child from a Nigerian parents in those days, they dictated what you should do anyway, not what you wanted to do. So the idea was for me to do medicine, but that meant I needed to find a way of looking for money and going out of Leeds and out of my mother's environment. So I very quickly discounted it. And I went to do a course I never planned to do, which was in the built environment quantity surveying. So I went to the careers officer because I had only 1 week to make up my mind because I delayed and delayed. And my mother said, you have very, very good qualifications. You could do what you want. Why are you delaying? And I didn't have the cost to do where I was. In any case, to cut a long story short, I waited till what is called clearing, which was the very, very late stage. And it was the last week of clearing. And there was only one thing left in Leeds Polytechnic, which was then Leeds, ended up becoming Leeds Metropolitan University. And it was a course on quantity surveying. So I went there and I spoke to the admissions tutor, and he said, oh, you've got very, very good qualifications. Why do you want to come and do this? Anyway, I explained and he said, look, we will take you if you want. So I entered the program and I said, look, if I don't do well in the first year, I would leave it. And as God will have it, first year I did well, did very well. Second year I did very well. And I ended up coming with a first-class honors and was the only Black person that have had first-class honors in that course for as long as it existed. And that prompted me to say, you know what? Keep on it. With me, it's not so much how you started, but maybe how you'll end up. I was totally disciplined and dedicated. And to be honest, I was doing 2 things, working and studying. For years, I never knew any other thing, apart from you are with your mother. And I continued, and because I did so well in my first degree, I had a scholarship to go and do a PhD. And they said, well, they gave me a scholarship because you were the best student in the whole of the university and the best student in the country in quantity surveying. So we will give you a scholarship. So that's how it all started for me. And I had a scholarship to go and do a PhD, and I did a PhD in construction project management. And then that opened up and I went to UCL, University College London, and did a postdoctoral study and then got into lecturing. And then it started lecturing, senior lecturer, associate professor, head of school, head of department, dean of school, pro vice-chancellor, and here I am. But I've just said that in less than 30 seconds. But it was tough being almost the only Black person in everything you do. But that level of resilience, that humility, that perseverance, and believe you me, I was still working, doing 2 jobs because it was tough back home in Leeds for my mother, And of course, if you are here, you also need to take the opportunity of supporting your people back home. But that's how the story actually went. And of course, then there was high level of racial discrimination, racial harassment. But I had to keep my head low. I had to be respectful, highly disciplined, and making sure that my work and my studies spoke for me. And I keep saying that there's a place you position yourself. No matter how people hit you left, right, and center, they will still see something in you that shines. Are you with me? And I always tell those I mentor that that's what it is. So the position hasn't changed. Education in the United Kingdom is one of the best you can get. And I've had the pleasure of being to over 30 different countries as a professor in education. There is something around the UK educational system that really, really is second to none. Are you with me? So that's my story. I'm happy if you have an initial question, and I'm happy to now tell you a bit about my university, Leeds Trinity University, and how through that you could achieve the kind of things I achieved, or even something better and higher than I have achieved. And starting from any base is as good as anything. I just want to stop, Egbu, just whether there's a question or you want me to go straight.
Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you. So I heard, first of all, it's inspiring to me, losing your dad so early. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm truly sorry. I can only imagine what you went through. But I hear discipline, I hear hard work, I hear sacrifice in spite of how much you were hit. I hear good grades, working very hard. And so you had to earn it. I hear scholarship, humility, perseverance, and being the only Black. That sometimes I can relate to. That's not funny. But you said something that struck me. You said you had no choice but to make it, right? It's not about how you started, it's about how you end up. And that no matter how hard you're hit, people will see your light. That's, for me, that's the whole thing. I've got a lot from you. And so people can hear you. There are counselors here, there are students here who are indecisive about what to do. There is the expense. UK is still as expensive as how it was during your time. There are policies change, policies come, then you could take your family. Now we could take our family then, but now it's changed. There's just so much uncertainties, so much culture shock. You are working in the cold. Sometimes people don't understand what that is until they face it. You know, sometimes they don't even know what opportunities there are for them. They don't know who to ask questions or what support. How would you advise a young person who is coming in now, or a family woman or man who cannot even come with the children or family? How would you navigate? What tips do you have for us in that regard?
I often say the big challenge is finding a way to come in. And it is a huge amount of money. As someone who's a Nigerian and have families in Nigeria and go to Nigeria. So it is huge amount of money coming to the UK to study. Which then tells us one thing. If you have the singular opportunity of finding money, either through your relatives, through your, whichever way, and you get here, I think the primacy of things is that you must achieve what you've come here for. You must achieve what you've come here for, because there are so many people who have sacrificed for you. And there is an opportunity cost. And the opportunity cost is what people would have done with the money and the time you have brought into the UK and what it could have done elsewhere. But once you are here, you need to really focus. You need to be very clear of how you want to navigate, the discipline, because there are whole lots of temptation. There are all lots of people you'll see telling you A and B and C, telling you how perhaps they've done it, it's easy, or you do this. There are lots and lots of temptation. And I dare say over the years, I've seen people who have ended up in very bad places. So you need to have your agency in yourself, knowing why you are here, knowing you have to be dedicated, focused, disciplined. Keep your head where it needs to be. Make sure you are not tempted, but be curious. Be curious. Because this is a society where you could meet people who could knock you down, and you could meet people who will really bring you up. And that's why you have to be yourself, the very best of yourself. And I've seen many people who have come and in the process of trying to struggle and make ends meet those very good ones, because they are true, they are their own self. They are true, they are humble. Something about some of our Nigerians, I have to say, it's at times we lack humility. You need to be humble, you need to be focused, you need to be perseverance in nature, because things will hit you. And there are people who perhaps wouldn't like you for who you are. And that shouldn't jolt you for one bit if you are focused. And once you are in, be curious and seek how you could make it, whether you are entitled to A, B, C, D. Look around, research around, find out things, try and get into very good networks. and you will find good networks. Either networks from good, reputable churches, Nigerian societies, or where you think people who are likely to be in your discipline, even if it's a white people's network, make sure it's authentic and real. And through that, opportunities will come in a social way. People will link you up. And people may listen to your stories. And one thing about this country is that you will get people who will be touched with stories that show hardship, stories that show somebody who wants to succeed. But be the best of yourself at every time. Make sure you keep your hands straight and be of good conduct in everything you do. Even if it means working harder twice than every other person, that goodness in you will shine. People will see that there is humanity in you, there is genuineness in you, and somebody will pick that up. They will pick that up. So that's what I will say. If you are able to come in, be patient. Don't think Rome was built in a day. I knew it wasn't built in a day for me, and it wasn't even built in many years for me. So I'm happy to stop here. Hopefully it chimes with a number of people, and I'm happy to take questions or to move on. Back to you, Egbu.
Thank you so much, Professor. There's so much I'm writing now. So find a way to get in. When you get in, seek information, research on everything around you, find a good and authentic network, and then remember, people will see your value, your genuineness, and your light. Be humble. All right, so you can start putting in your questions in the chat. I'm not here alone. I've got my beautiful colleagues. I've got Timmy, I've got Chinaza. Please put in your questions and then we'll take them one by one. So while we're getting in the questions, Professor, how does Leeds Trinity University, how do we fit in the picture? How can we support our students even much more than others? Okay. What do we have to offer in terms of student experience? You know, we want to know more. The tuition fees, the process of getting in, and what support can we get from LTU?
No, thank you very much. You will expect someone like me to really, really think carefully the kind of university I get associated with. And I'm really, really proud to be part of Leeds Trinity University and to be proud to be its leader and a vice-chancellor. Now, Leeds Trinity University was set up in 1966 as a Catholic university. It was a college, a teacher training college for men in terms of its Trinity, its All Saints, and then Trinity for women. So it was two separate colleges in 1966, being teacher training for men and women, and they merged in 1980. And they got a teacher degree award in powers in 2009. And it was a full-fledged university in 2012. So it started life with excellence in teacher training, and that excellence still continues as I speak with you. So we take pride in our teaching. I hope you can still hear me. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can, Professor.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, and we take pride in starting life as teacher training, but we've since moved to so many areas. So we've moved to business, childhood education, we've moved to creative writing, criminology, data science and artificial intelligence. We've gone into areas like international business, journalism, law, quantity surveying, psychology, project management, nursing. We will go into biomedical sciences in September. So we've just moved, and excellence, it's our watchword. And it won't surprise you because of our background. Our values in terms of honesty and integrity, dignity of everyone and care, respect and inclusivity, knowledge and excellence, and solidarity and service to help everyone, perhaps doesn't surprise you. We put our students at the center of our university. And there's something we take pride in, that our students are a name, not a number. You will see that in almost everything. We've stopped trying to make assumptions of students. We know their lives are complicated. So we want to look at them as individuals and then provide individual learning and support. And our support is very, very strong. Support in almost everything. Supporting international students as they come, we support them from where they land and we bring them to where they want to stay. And when they are with us, we support those who are struggling with English. We are able to help them understand how their money will go far. Those who may have mental health or neurodivergent issues, we need to support them. Those who may be stressful and lonely, those who may feel homesick, those who may struggle with their work, perhaps don't know what it is studying in a new country. That level of support, it's unbelievable. And I've been to many universities and I can be very clear that our support is wholesome, it's robust, it's authentic, and it's done by people who understand where you're coming from. I think it's important to also talk about a number of things. And it's important to also say that you have a university that is respectful of international students. And we don't just see international students as that just one student. We absolutely want to make sure that their cultural environment, the differences that exist by virtue of them coming from where they are coming, that they adjust very, very quickly. They are respected very, very quickly. So the issue of diversity and inclusion is really, really uppermost. Everyone is respected for who they are. Everyone is included in what we do. Everyone is welcomed in what we do. And you have an inclusive campus. I'm not sure whether someone needs to turn their mic off, please. Yeah. And I think it's really, really important. One of the things we see our university as a career-led university. Everything we do speaks about career. And I have to say, we have a target to make sure that over 95% of our students get a job when they finish with us. Now, this is home students, I have to say. But there's real opportunity for overseas students as part of their study to get engaged and get involved in careers and work closely with businesses. One, it supports their learning. Secondly, if they're able to position themselves well, the point I was making around you being a decent person, you being a humble person, you being the best you can be, you may have a shine. And as you do your studies and get engaged with businesses, you never know what could develop. At times, what people need is just opportunity and visibility and space to do what they do. And our university has that opportunity to provide linkages with industry. I also want to talk about excellence. I mentioned that. We take pride in our position in terms of student experience, our position in terms of student success. This is something we are known about. And perhaps not surprising because of our teacher training background. We know how to teach. We also know how to research and how to inculcate scholarship and research into our programs. At times when I speak to overseas students, they quickly talk about, discount, scholarship, how much does it cost? And of course, these are important. I also was keen on that very, very early on when I came in as international students. And perhaps this is where I think we need to be careful. I remember when I went to Nigeria some years ago to do recruitment of students, because money is difficult. And it was difficult then. It's even more difficult now. Even at then, I remember putting my stand in, I think it's Echo Hotel in Lagos, and we did that also in Abuja then. And we had some students who were going around, and what they were asking is not even about the courses. Which of your course is the cheapest course? And I said, is it the cheapest course that is the one that is attractive, or the course you are looking for? And I said this because universities can play a little bit of games. So you may have a course that is naturally 14,000, and they will say, look, it's 18,000 and we'll give you a 4,000 pounds discount. Yeah. And you are caught up with the huge amount of discount when the true amount that means so much is the 14,000. And you have those who will do all kinds of games, but what matters is the baseline, the actual amount you're going to pay. So I think we need to be very, very minded about how some universities talk about discounts and scholarship built in and in-country discount. One of the things we are very, very clear is that whichever way you shape this, whichever gimmicks you make, we are one of the lowest in terms of our price. We take pride in saying, depending on the course you come to, if it's undergraduate course, you're looking at about 12,000. If it's a postgraduate course, you're looking at about 15,000. There are a number of postgraduate courses that are 12,000, and you need to look at our documentation. So for example, MA in Childhood and Education, MA in Family Support, MA in Mental Health and Children and Young People, MA in Creative Writing are around 12,000. Then our MBA is 15,250. Now, I know places where their MBAs are 60,000, 35,000, 18,000, no matter what kind of discount and scholarship they give you. These are huge amounts of money. Even if they tell you they give you 12,000 discount and still charge you 25,000 or 18,000. You need to think about that which you pay. So we are authentic, we are true, we live our values in everything we do, we are honest, we have the highest level of integrity, and that is what it is. We also have a situation which I think we are proud of, that if you are coming in, yes, you pay 50% of initial deposit, and we spread the other 50% in 2 installations. There are many universities who wouldn't do that because they've had their fingers burnt. Because some people, some overseas students, including, I have to say, from Nigeria, our country, will come in 50% and will not be able to pay the other. So they say, look, pay 50% and then pay 50, and we won't break that down into installments. And if you are about to come, I think the timing is really, really important. We are in June. If you really want to come, for example, September 2024 and 3, you have to move quickly. You have to be applying into the university before 30th of June for all postgraduate programs. And if you are choosing our MSc in psychology, you need to be applying by 16th of June. 16th of June is just in 2 days' time. But for other courses, you need to be applying by 30th of June, which is a Sunday. And then if you want to move further and want to think about obtaining your CAS, which is the confirmation of acceptance for study, there's also quite some deadline which you will also need to be meeting. And that deadline, that is if you've ever applied before 16th of, before 30th of June, there's a deadline of 9th of August if you are going to obtain your CAS. And in your application, and I'll very much recommend you speak to our agent and also look at our website. In applying, you will need to have, if it's a postgraduate, because most of our students are coming through for postgraduate courses, but nonetheless, if it's a postgraduate course, you need to have a UK equivalent degree from an ECCTI's recognized institution. We will ask for proof of English. We will ask for satisfactory reference. We will also ask for your statement of purpose, why you want to come for the studies. We will need to have your passport, at least the clear color copy of the photo page of that. And we will need to have copies of your previous visas if you've tried to come to the UK before, or refusals. But the agents will guide you on how you need to move. Can I just say one thing? Because I've had the pleasure of being in this country for quite some time, and I've had some real pleasure in working with so many students from international and overseas countries, including Nigeria. I think you also need to think about the university you're going to. Also, you need to think about the city you're going to be in and what you're going to get when you arrive there. Yes, the money is hugely important because you're talking about huge money. But you also need to be in a place you're going to settle well. Places where you have a great sense of belonging and you are respected for whom you are, and you give in a space. You also need to think about where you have a higher chance of getting a little job. Because too often many students don't have the luxury of having their father paying their school fees and giving them maintenance and buying them food and giving them accommodation and paying for their clothes. Too often they would want to do some work, provided they work within the confines of the law, which I think it's 20 hours maximum a week. But you need to ask yourself, where do you want to work? If you have a university in very, very rural areas, the chances are the jobs aren't there. Leeds is the fourth largest city in the UK. It has a bubbly city center. Bubbly city center, cosmopolitan. You'll see other internationals from different parts of the world. Chances of getting a job is a lot higher than if you are in an inner area or in smaller towns, and there are many universities in smaller towns. So you need to think carefully, but you need to think about your humanity, your sense of belonging, where you need to be respected and tolerated, because you may come to a place where you spent all that money coming and you don't really get an enjoyment. This is over and above the quality of the course in which you want to do. So I've talked about the realism, the honesty around the fee structure. I've talked about what it means to get the support and the respect, and you feel at home, and your sense of belonging and sanity is maintained. I've also talked about the importance of improved opportunity of working and getting some jobs to keep body and soul together. The other thing I mentioned very, very early on is an opportunity of having some networks, either networks of Nigerians, networks of professional bodies that sit with what you want to do. You are likely to get this in bigger cities than in very, very rural areas. I hope I've given you some taste of why I'm very, very passionate about this university, why I think it's a university that combines the highest level of quality in education with honesty, truthfulness, and where we take our students as individuals. They are a name to us, not a number, and where that's individualization of the person, and where their sense of belonging means so much, where we want them to thrive and succeed, and where they will have real support that helps them in what they do. Egbu, if it's okay, I'll stop here, and I'm happy to take some questions.
Yes, thank you very much. You have really summarized why LTU should be considered. So research, consider your city, like what Professor Charles has said. It's not just enough to pick a school of the UK. Your networking and your job prospects are really important. The teaching method, yes. Affordable tuition, absolutely. So we do have a couple of questions, Professor, and I'll try to make them as brief as possible because we have less than 20 minutes now.
Okay.
So,
are you sharing anything?
no, I'm not. I'm not sharing anything.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Okay.
I can see
I
you.
will read. Okay, I will read them out, but I'll try to summarize it for you. So we have Olu Jabal, who is actually an offer holder. He's coming in for AI and data science, but was refused because of NECO. So he's asking why we accept only WIAC certificate and not NECO.
I don't think we, you will know this more than I do, Ebru.
Yes, yes.
I think we also consider equivalence, yes? And I'm not sure whether is that the only reason they've given?
That's the only reason, but let me pick out the questions that you can help with, and then I could answer the one so we're faster. Okay. So Olu Jabal, your NECO, I will discuss that with you, but let me pick the one Professor can respond to now. Fresh is asking if we're in partnership with ACCA, for example, just like how you have built environments in partnership with project management, RIBC. Yes. So do we have any form of partnership with ACCA? And can he be exempt to study masters in accounting or fintech, for example?
Are they coming to do postgraduate program?
Yes, because ACCA is above UG level.
Yes. So what we say, it's most of our courses have professional accreditation. I think that's what I think I'm hearing. And that professional accreditation exempts them from some level of training and education. Now, when you talk about partnership, does that partnership mean is our programs professionally accredited? Yes, many of them are professionally accredited. But if it's partnership between one-to-one, you as the individual and the organization, that would be something you need to be following yourself. But what we say is we have accreditation, which means that that professional body has seen and put a stamp to say you have reached certain elements and your student, when they finish, wouldn't have to do X, Y, Z. They can now move ahead. And too often what it means, they may now need to go and work for 1 year or 2 years and then get that professional qualification. If that's what partnership means, yes, we do have that.
Okay, yeah. So thank you so much, Professor. Fresh, I hope this responds to your question. So Cheta and Miracle are talking about flexible tuition fees. Cheta is asking for a further spread in payments in terms of tuition fees.
I have to say,
I know.
we've discussed that at length.
Yes, yeah.
In fact, it's fairly recently that we had some meetings with our finance directors and our board of governors, and we've said we understand the difficulty. If you come with 50% payment initially, we are going to spread the other 50%. And I say that because the university has had its fingers burnt many, many a time. We used to allow that. And what happens is students will come in, they don't pay, and they will say, you know what, you even hold our certificate. Hold it for as many years as you want. Are with me? When I finish, even if it's 5, 10 years, I may come back. And we have many, many students, not just Nigerians, from all over the world. So you have a situation where the university is in debt and you can't even track the student. And after 5 or 8 or 10 years, that student comes back and say, oh, I didn't pay. Now I've been able to get some money. Now, 10 years in the life of a university, being owed not by one student, because that individual student might think is the only one or she's the only one. When you have multiplicity of students owing the university for years and years, it's not fair on the other students who are paying, because you need this money to pay your lecturers. You need this money to provide resources. So the university has done the best it can, understanding the risk exposure it has. Are with me? I know the individual student will only be looking at himself or herself. Why can't they just allow me to spread it? Are with me? But I think the university understands what this means and have had difficulties. And we think that that's a balanced way of doing it. Now, that is what the position is. Now, it doesn't mean that when we do have people who extraordinarily have a challenged issue, either because of health or bereavement or somebody who has promised to take care of them, something happens, that the university wouldn't bend backwards. Are with me? But these are exceptional situations. And it's good we are open very, very clearly to say what the policy is at day one. So that's what it is.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor. So for now, this is what it is. 3 installments, 50%, like Professor mentioned, as the initial deposit, and then 25% in 2 installments for the balance. Shadrach is asking if the university helps with accommodation, work placement, and post-study work visa.
We help with accommodation. Indeed, if you're an international student, we would say, and we almost guarantee you, that if you are coming and you've got everything in place, we will help you to obtain accommodation so that you don't come to a different country and then get stranded. And of course, you have to pay for your accommodation. We'll just help you to find a place which we think will be a good place, a secure place, where you know it's a comfortable place, that the university is either the university's own halls of residence or a place where we have entered into agreement with a landlord or a student residence owner to provide you with a place. Yes, we will do that. There was some sub questions around that. Can you say
Work placement and post-study work visa?
One of the things we do, and I said that a little bit, nobody can guarantee you a work visa or a post-study visa. That's not the reason why you've come in the first place. You've come in as a student to study. What I think any university will do, which is what we do, is to expose you as much as possible to different career prospects and career opportunities. I said clearly that we're a career-led university, and we take pride in making sure that our students get a place. That is different from guaranteeing you. Nobody should guarantee you. If they say that, I'm afraid they are not honest. Are you with me? Because you are coming in here as a student. Are you with me? You have your pass, your visa is a student. Doing any other thing, I think, will be perhaps not well positioned. And I would never advise you to listen to anyone who tells you they're going to guarantee you. Are you with me? They are not sure of themselves. The employer is not sure of themselves. The employer is not thinking of you now. So I think you need to find an honest employer who will increase your chances of getting a place. I think that's all you can say. Are you with me? And that's what we do.
Thank you so much, Professor, for the honesty. Thank you, sir. So there are other questions briefly. I know a lot of people want more scholarships. Some people have got the discounts, the £3,000 discount, but unfortunately, this is what we can afford at this time, which is also why our university is one of the most affordable for the teaching quality in the UK. I just thought to put that out there. So one person, Juliet, is asking, are there other scholarships for good grades? So for example, for first-class students. At the moment, there isn't, but it doesn't mean we will not consider in future. For now, this is how we are starting. Remember, we're also in an international market for a reason, but we hear you, we listen to you, and we're trying to make the process as easy as possible, which is why I'm here, which is why my team is here, and we're based in Lagos. So I want to thank Okikiola for his or her great idea of creating a WhatsApp group for all offer holders in Nigeria and even Ghana.
Excellent.
Okiki, thank you so much. Honestly, thank you very much. We will take that up and create a WhatsApp group from today. I know the day is gone, but from Monday we will start. So thank you so much for putting that in. Then I have Nkechi Clara. So Nkechi, in her case, she had the money to pay, because I think last month there was a crash in the forex, the value of the pound, and so she wanted to pay up her initial deposit, but she was asked not to pay until she does the PCI, which is the precast interview. And by the time she did the precast interview, the foreign exchange had gone up. So now Nkechi is stranded. She cannot pay her initial deposit. I spoke with her yesterday. She wants to come to LTU for mental health in childhood. And she's asked this question now, that is it possible for us to put in place a refund policy whereby students can pay whenever they have the money, irrespective of taking the PCI, the precast interview. And if it doesn't work out for that student, then there's a refund sent back to them, but just to hold down their seat. Is this possible? That's what she's asking.
No, I think we're going to explore that. That the question then becomes, how long is long? For for what length of time? Are you with me? I think we need to be careful so that best don't become the enemy of good, as they say. Are you with me? We just need to be careful. It's something we need to watch. I think the danger with all this is people now start doing things when they can do that. Are you with me? Even those who are not sure that they're going to get through that hoop, are you with me? And then create perhaps an unnecessary burden for themselves or for the university. But I think it's a very, very excellent idea to go and think about. And Ebon, I'll be very grateful if we discuss that with our team in our international office to see the pros and the cons and what timeline it means and what the contract position, because if somebody puts something there and naturally the money goes up, now is the university going to be liable for the differential? Are you with me? Or is the student, where do we sit contractually in all this? Which is why I think we just need to look at it a little bit more meaningfully. But we will look into it. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. So there's another person who has an offer for data science and artificial intelligence, but was later rejected because of NECO again. So they're asking, why is NECO not accepted? I remember we've been talking about this in the compliance department. So it's a question that has come up and we are working on it. We know that in Nigeria, not in West Africa, NECO and WAEC are of the same equivalence. So in many universities, if WAEC is accepted, then NECO is also accepted for Nigerian students only. So to respond to you, Olujabal, Olujabal is interested in coming in. He's got an offer, but he's wondering why he cannot come in. Then
with NECO, is it coming from Nigeria or from a different country?
From Nigeria with NECO. From Nigeria with NECO. He's Nigerian and he has NECO, so he doesn't know why he's not accepted.
Okay, can we look into that, Egbu? Egbu, as part of your discussion with my team, did they provide a rationale for that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they did. Yeah, we can discuss that offline.
Okay.
Yes, sir. But still with the English equivalence, we've got Fresh, who has said he's got his first degree from Oxford Brookes.
Yes.
And he's wondering if he still needs an English certificate to prove, like WAEC or NECO.
I think what our policy says is if you obtain your qualification from an EECTI kind of university, it's accepted. Yes. Okay. And Oxford Brookes is a university here in the UK. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So I think that should suffice.
Okay. Chidima, just to respond to you, when you're expected to be in the UK for your September intake, as early as you can, the moment you're able to apply for your visa, from even August, you're welcome to be there. Applications for some courses end by middle of July. So you're coming in for mental health in children. I think your application deadline is early July. So once you're able to apply within the 28 days, then you can come. Hope you get your visa. So I wish you the best. But you all need to do your PCI, which is your precast interview, just as a mock, okay? And I want you to see this as a mock session. It's just in preparation for your real visa interview. Some of you have done it, some of you haven't done it. So don't see it as a big thing. It's an informal meeting with our own team in the international office that can guide you through this, right? Noah is asking if LTU accepts sponsorship letters. So sponsorships like NDDC. Do we accept sponsorship letters for students who are sponsored by the government, for example, as proof of funds?
Yes. Yes, I think my office will entertain that, and they would look at the veracity of that test.
Yes.
That sponsorship. Yes. I'll suggest you start early. I think that's the strongest recipe. Start early, start the discussion, and then progress will be made. Yes.
Absolutely. Now, the PGCE, and I know we are running short of time, my goodness. We've got 2 minutes. Duke got a PGCE fee in physics, from the bursary department. According to the department, the proof of funds, admission is asking me to submit evidence of funds to issue the CAS. So Duke, you have to share your sponsorship letter from the bursary. I'm assuming you're calling from Ghana. You have to get a letter from your department for physics. If they're the ones sponsoring you, share it with us, then you should be able to come in for the precast interview. All right? I think that is all. More questions are coming in. I can only take more, just one more. Shadrach has asked, what of sponsorship letter from an individual? Shadrach, based on the UK VI law, if you're getting a sponsorship letter cannot be from an individual, except as a charity foundation, except as a foundation, an NGO, make it organizational. Otherwise, the person has to pay the money into your account because you're an adult. Remember when Professor Charles said when he turned 18, he was treated as an adult. So that is just the situation. The policy is still the same, right? The person has to either pay the university on your behalf. The letter doesn't suffice. That's what I'm trying to say. So he or she can pay directly to the university and then pay your living expenses into your account. I think that would help a lot. So thank you so much, everybody.
Except you have to go. I can stay for another 5-10 minutes.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm fine. Okay. I'm fine. Absolutely fine to stay. All right. If you've got any questions, so keep them coming in for the next 5 minutes. Let me see if I've taken all the questions. Fresh, you're free to apply. please apply. Since you
Someone
came
is,
from
someone
Oxford.
is asking, when is the precast interview?
The precast interview, once you get your conditional offer and you meet all the conditions from admissions, you're automatically invited for a precast interview via email. You will get an email from admissions giving you a date you can pick from for a precast interview. Now, the secret to this, just like what Professor Charles has said, is you must start early, make your applications early, because it takes time for admissions to even decide. We have a lot of influx of applications. When towards the deadline, people start panicking. Do you understand? But it's also a lot of pressure from the admissions perspective. So it's important you apply, make sure all your documents are fine. If you've met all the entry requirements, you will be given a conditional offer, after which you will be sent an email for your precast interview. All right, you pick a date, you will do a precast interview for 15 minutes with a colleague, with one of my colleagues, Will, or it could be somebody else from the international office. All right. Fee, I hope I've responded to your question. So Fidelina is also going for MA Childhood and Education. She had difficulty accessing any alumni in her field. Professor, we need your help here. How can we get in contact with them to know what lies ahead?
I think what happens is, Ebun, we need to perhaps pass on our alumni officer, contact. One of the things I think you need to worry about in this country is just passing individual contacts to individual people. It's frowned out, especially if you don't know them. I think the best thing, because you have to protect their own identity too, are you with me?
Yes.
And giving people's phone number willy-nilly, it's against the law. What I think we can do is we can make sure any individual who wants to contact our alumni will do that through our alumni officer. And then they will explore the possibilities. What you don't want is for individuals to pick up a number and start bombarding the individual. Are with me? Morning, day, and night, and asking for all kinds of stuff. I think we need to protect both the alumni and the individual, just to make sure we don't enter into some very difficult waters. But I think going through the alumni officer might be the best bet. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Professor. So in addition to what Prof has said, the marketing team in LTU is putting together videos of the alumni of African descent. So the Nigerians, the Ghanaians, and other countries. We're trying to put a video together that we can share on our social media handles for you to hear firsthand of what experience they have with LTU. So that should at least answer your questions, give you a bit of picture of what to expect. But like he said, honestly speaking, LTU is about the students and not just the numbers. Every student is known by name, and that's important. Like when I speak to people, when my colleague Chinaza speaks to people, it's about you. It's not just about churning you over to LTU. And the support is even after you start your studies. So which means even while you're there, you can always reach out to me, reach out to Chinaza, reach out to the Nigeria office, international office, for whatever struggle you have. That's why we're here. And that's why we're thankful to Okiki for giving us the WhatsApp group initiative. We're not sending you away. 4 years after your graduation, you will still have the support from LTU. And that is not done in many universities. This is not about selling a university. It's about being honest. And that's the reason why we're all here. It's the reason why I have chosen to even work with them. So it's personal for all of us, the way you are important to us. All right. What are the chances of passing the visa interview? Shedrack, trust me, you will pass it. That's why we're prepping you ahead of time. Okay? What exactly are the spreads for what month? So in terms of the payment, you pay 50% of your tuition fees before enrollment. And then after enrollment, 8 weeks after enrollment, you pay 25%. And then another 8 weeks, 25%. So there's a spread, enough time to give you, a bit of breathing space. We know it can be challenging, but see it as this way. Pay up your tuition as quickly as you can with the chances of getting a job in a bigger city. If you went to the remote places, it's almost certain that you will not get in the kind of work you're looking for or even enough money to pay your tuition. So you may get a lower expenses, but you will get a higher tuition in the university. So it's now time for you to weigh the options, prioritize what is more important, a lower tuition in a bigger city, and see how we can spread it. But whatever struggles you have, we are always here to support. All right? Joshua, we don't have biomedical engineering. We don't have that at the moment.
No, we will start the biomedical sciences in September, but it's undergraduate.
It's undergraduate. And you can only apply for 2025 for undergraduate. Okay? How long will it take to get feedback? Okay, sorry. Lawyer, Omion, sorry. How long will it take to get the feedback from LTU after one has taken the PCI? Within 2 working days. Sometimes it's immediate. Some people have got it that same day. Oh, you say you've done your PCI. When did you do it? Can I call you Omion? When did you do your PCI? Can we have your contact, please? Absolutely. So here's my email address. And here's my phone number. You can always send me a WhatsApp chat and I'll respond to you as quickly as possible. I'm pretty good on WhatsApp, so.
I think Omion is saying 5 days now. Somehow he hasn't got it.
Okay, so Omion, do me a favor. Send me an email with your student ID, right? And your name, your full name. Send me an email, please. And then I will chase it up for you. All right? Apologies for the delay. Apologies for that. Yes. What exactly are the chances of passing? You will pass the interview as long as you're being sincere, as long as you're being honest, you will pass the interview. Do not hide anything because we're only prepping you for the real visa interview process. Okay? All right, apologies for the delay. Does LTU have certification in data science? Sheon is asking, what do you mean by certification? Oh, a certification course? Is it a short course? Is that what you mean, Sheon?
It's either it's meant whether there's a professional body accreditation as opposed to certification. If it's a master's degree, yes, it's certified. But I think you're saying whether we have a professional body accreditation. At the moment, we haven't got that now. It's a new program.
Okay.
That is if I understand the question as a professional body accreditation and not just a certification. 2 different things. Yeah.
Okay. Nkechi, what do you mean? Are we going to do visa interview outside PCI? Yes. When you're applying for your visa to the UK itself, yes. You may or may not. You may be required to do interview. Yes. It's a screening process they have. In the past, we didn't used to have that, but now they do. I hope I've taken all the questions. Sharon, are you there? Is there anyone I missed? I hope I have taken all the questions. What are the chances of passing the visa interview? Shedrack, you will pass. Once you pass the PCI, that's a mock session, like I said. You should do well in the main interview. I have gotten an unconditional offer and heading towards my payment. Egbu, I will see him. Okay. Nkechi is saying that she's about to pay her fees, Professor, and that she will see you in September.
I look forward to personally welcoming her. Yeah?
Okay. All right. So somebody also asked for graduate assistantship or work placement. I missed that. Yes.
That's the point I was making. I think it's too early to be thinking about that. I think you have to be part of the course first and then work with the course team to make sure that the placement is sorted out. That's how it works. you don't get a placement before you start. Are with me? And of course,
Yeah.
placements are very, very well controlled and managed. And it's not just the university, you have to work with the National Health Trust. And we do have a kind of rationing for every university working with particular health trusts. Yeah. But once you are involved and you are in the course, they will help you out as part of your course. Yeah. Not part of your not part of your post-course work people are thinking about. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So one last question. I think it's 5:10 now. Considering the recent change in government policies and the challenge of recent students about losing their admission to the UK, what has Leeds Trinity University done differently, or what are we doing differently to ensure that students, get in time the easiest way?
I think part of this meeting is to tell you what we're doing. It's to be honest with you. And I think that honesty, I think it's so important. It's important to manage expectations. We have teams that you can contact anytime you want. Ebun has been very kind to share her contact details, and you can ring and find so much information. And we have colleagues in our own international office. You can ring. We are doing everything we can to make sure we put you in the best place to get your visa. That mock visa is so important to make sure you get that. And the earlier discussion with us, tell us what it is early on. Don't leave it too late. Then we can work with you as closely as possible to make sure that the outcome is of satisfaction to you and to us. Look, the policy keeps changing, but I think we now know that the current position is what it is. We can still allow individuals to come in. Yes, they may not come with their own dependency, but if they are doing research-based programs, they can't come in. Yes. It could have been in a worse position. It's just that it was clarified 2 weeks ago. And I think the situation is really, really helpful for everybody.
Thank you very much. So it looks like we've taken all the questions. I would like to thank Sorry, Professor, thank you so much for your time. We know you're busy, it's really hard to reach you, but honestly, today you've made my day. And I'm sure with all the feedback we've got here, a lot of people are happy with, everything you've said to them. We're happy for the tips, hard work, very important. Information is everything. Don't just rely on hearsay. Get the information from source and let the university support you as well. Thank you for everyone who's here today, who has joined us in spite of the time. It's a rainy day in Lagos, so we can understand how much time this is. But thank you very much for this opportunity and time. I wish you a very good evening as you spend the rest. Wait for the tomorrow now. Okay, Okiki. Thank you. So I wish all of you have a good evening as you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much for your time. Bye-bye for now. We look forward to reaching out.
And the best of luck. Take care.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you very much,
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care,
you.
Ebun. All the best, Ebun. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Bye,
Bye-bye.
Professor.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you so much, sir.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, bye.